I'm born in Virginia at Bethesda Naval Hospital.
Phoenix, Arizona.
I was born in Torrance.
Originally, I'm from Temecula, California.
I was born in Anaheim, California.
I was born in Santa Monica.
Well, I was born overseas in Germany. My dad was in the Air Force.
I'm originally from Visalia, California.
My earliest childhood memory was just playing in the neighborhood with the neighbor kids, because that's what I grew up doing. We just played outside and had fun. I was really bossy, so I'd boss them all around and tell them what kind of games we were going to play and how we were going to play them. And
Being the middle child of 3 girls, I kind of got away with a lot of stuff because I wasn't the favorite. I was certainly not the favorite. My older sister was much older. My younger sister she was born with a club foot, so my mom really doted on her. So it gave me a chance to become more independent and quite mischievous, actually.
When I was 8 years old, my grandmother was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. She ended up moving into our home and living with us, and I'm the oldest of 3. And so my parents both worked, and so I really ended up spending all my time with her and helping her with her daily activities, just brushing her teeth, putting her mascara on with her. And
Extremely introverted, extremely introverted. I guess I still am, really, although I've learned to kind of not behave that way so much. I've learned to be more outgoing. But all the way up through high school, through college mostly, and then I went to law school and I started to get better at pretending to not be introverted. And now I've gotten almost good at pretending not to not be introverted. So.
My mother was diagnosed with breast cancer when I was 13, so I was just starting junior high school, and everything was different then. That's when things changed for me, because she was ill, and I spent a lot of time taking care of her. She went through chemotherapy, and the doctors taught me how to inject morphine into an orange, and so I would give my mom the morphine injections at home. So that's kind of when things changed for me. I knew that was kind of what I wanted to do, was just help people and take care of people. It made me happy.
I got closer to my dad as he got older. He retired from the Navy, and you could tell he was thinking about things more, his life. And as he got sicker, you could tell that he would sit in his chair in the family room and just, you could tell he was thinking. And he would watch TV a lot, but then all of a sudden the TV went off, and he wasn't watching the TV anymore. And then we thought, oh, something's happening here. He's withdrawing a little bit, and that was kind of hard for us to see. But it was also hard for us to see him suffering too, with the effects of diabetes and congestive heart failure. But that's why I started hospice in the first place, because it helped me deal with my dad's situation. It really did, and how to talk to him. And
being present for some of the life in review videos, I've kind of gotten a different perspective of family, I think. It's really sweet how a lot of the times the family is very supportive and always there, and it makes me realize that I should value my family while they're around, and while they may not be so helpful at this, because I don't need so much help at this age, but they'll always be there for me. Sometimes I forget that.
I really enjoy the challenge of watching the video, the raw footage a few times, and trying to get a grasp of that person's, the essence of their personality, so that's what I can take some of the other stuff out and keep those portions in.
My first patient, the first one that I remember, was in Laguna Beach. She was very specific about how she wanted her hair. I mean, extremely picky. And her son said, this is my mom, and you really need to listen to what she wants because she's very certain. So I cut her hair and just perfect. Handed her the mirror and I asked her if she liked it. And she says, no, I love it. And she passed away, I think, the very next day or shortly thereafter. But it gave me a sense of, I did something really good for somebody that really needed it and really appreciated it. And I love the fact that she was so picky, because I'm kind of picky too.
There was one that I just did, and she's actually a young woman. She's in her 40s, and she passed away. And to me, she seemed, the whole video for the raw footage was really to her children. She was talking to her children, who I'm imagining were in their early 20s or late teens. And a lot of it was kind of sad, but, and she was from the South, and there was one sentence that she said, which was, my biggest piece of advice is like, never leave the house without your lipstick and your sunglasses. And it's got to be the right shade of lipstick.
When you touch someone's head, it's like truth serum. It's like they feel like sharing with you things that are interesting to them or something that's on their heart. It's good for them. It's good for people to talk about things that are important to them. And it's a joy to be a conduit, so to speak.
The people who do visual volunteering, it's a calling for them. And I remember one volunteer, she had a specific experience for visual volunteering that was so different than any of the other visual volunteers. And actually the whole family was there. There was a lot of people there. And they really wanted a visual volunteer. And so she came, but then they didn't even want her in the room. They just had her out in the living room sitting out there like, okay, just sit on the couch and, you know, we'll just let you know when time gets closer. But anytime anyone would call them, they would just be like, oh no, it's okay, because Millie from hospice is here, so we're fine. And she was like, okay, she just kept reminding them that she's a visual volunteer, she's not a nurse, but they just felt so, you know, they just felt so much better having her there. And then as the moments did get closer, they went and got her and they said, you know, that their loved one was breathing harder, and she just kind of helped walk them through the process. And the whole family was there with all these people just crammed into this little room. And it was such a blessing to them to have her there with them at that time. And I remember her calling me. She's like, that was the most different visual volunteer that I've ever been to. But she's like, I think that the family got so much out of me being there. And it was just such, she was that loving presence that they needed at that time to walk them through that. And what a blessing to have her to be able to do that.
You know, my wife and I do it together. So like, yeah, it's been great. We started out visiting a patient, and she just recently actually passed away. She'd survived for almost 2 years, so it was a lot longer than we'd anticipated. When we started visiting, she was already 98 years old, and we got to actually see her 99th birthday with her, and it was just a lot of fun. Like you get to know her as a person. It was also a lot of fun. Like we would have a lot of generational disconnects because she was so old. Like she had family in Oklahoma, and we were trying to explain to her that what Skype was, basically, like that she could turn on the computer and the person could be there talking to her live time, you know, in another state. And you know, she just made this face of a complete lack of comprehension. Like her eyes got big, and she had no clue what we were talking about. It's a unique situation with a person like that, because you do know every time that it might be the last time. And you do in a conscious way, which I think is good training again for just our regular relationships. You do in a conscious way become aware, I'm parting with this person, like we're leaving. I hope to see you again. It makes those sorts of things more meaningful when we throw them out so casually in our other relationships.
With patients, they want to be remembered. They want to be remembered, and that's the biggest thing, you know, for things that they did and their families. And unfortunately, there's some families that don't visit, and that's unfortunate, but at least there's people like the volunteers here that do that, and that makes a big difference in their life. So And I'll do that till the day I die. You know, I will be like that. You know, you just give a little bit, and a lot comes from it. So I'll always be here, I hope.
The spirit and the environment of this agency, I think, is so, it's just incredible, and it just is so uplifting, and I think the energy is so positive, and the celebration for me, walking in the door and the stones, you know, kind of focusing the energy towards remembering somebody, hearing every single person's story on the team was just amazing, because sometimes you don't think about how each individual here at this organization, there's a reason why they're here. There's a story behind it, you know. Just like my story, everybody here has a reason why they want to work in hospice.
Oh, I love Celebration. I thought it was a great idea from the beginning, because I just like things like that. And you know, they always come at the best time, because sometimes I'll really be feeling like, man, I'm just like so sad because so many people keep passing away, and I just love them, and it just makes me sad. So I'll go to Celebration, and then I'll immediately just be like, oh my gosh, you get recharged, and you get like, you're like on fire again. You're like, all right, now I know why I'm here again. Like, I get remotivated every time.
I found out originally about Hospice Care of the West because I read an article in a newspaper about Denise Carson's book, and read her book, and then contacted Hospice Care of the West to find out if I could help. I just really enjoyed the book. It was fantastic. Just the story, you know, of her mom, and I related to it because of my dad. I related to that a lot. I think it really hit home. The stuff that she went through, I went through with my dad, and even though that was a long time ago, it just, wow, you know, here's this opportunity again for me to get into hospice again.
The staff at hospice, I have to say, is one of my favorite. I've volunteered for a lot of other organizations, and no one is nearly as friendly. And I know this is cheesy, but Shannon is very nice, and I feel like we've kind of almost got like a friendship, and everyone's really nice. No one's rude. Everyone is willing to help.
Well, most of my contact is with Shannon, and I just find her the most, you know, she just seems like she's constantly full of joy. And it's very contagious. And I always look forward to her emails in response to my videos, because it's like, you know, exclamation points and all this stuff. And I don't know if she means it or not, but it keeps me encouraged.
Deb Robeson is like an angel. I don't know where she came from, but I adore her. I don't know. I mean, what can I say? It's just, I feel like a part of a family unit here. It's a warm and fuzzy kind of experience for me working here. That's it in a nutshell. I love being here.
Well, they're amazing. They're just the best group of people I've ever worked with in any capacity. I've done all kinds of volunteer stuff, and they're just the nicest, most welcoming people I've ever known. They genuinely seem to care about the volunteers and about the patients, and just great people to work with. Wonderful to be around. I'm going to go help them make some more cards or whatever they're doing right now. So.
Nobody could do it better than Hospice Care of the West. It's just such a personal experience, and like I said before, it's a privilege and an honor for me to be a part of this organization.
I've learned that it's really not black and white. I used to think like, oh, people are old or they aren't, but it's really, people are sometimes, their physical features are old, but their inner features are so much younger. And some of those people some of the patients have so much more energy than I do sometimes. And I've learned a lot because, you know, you can kind of take from that and learn to be more youthful while you can.
I have learned mainly from the Life for You videos, that the happiest people are the ones that spent their life doing things for other people rather than doing things for themselves. And I think you can tell the difference not only in how they are spiritually and just how they look back on their life.
To really be in the moment, present with the people that you're talking to and with, and caring for them is the only way to live a life. And hospice deepens that in you so much and forces you to pay attention to that. in a meaningful way. So yeah, I think that's it.